Alright peeps, welcome back to Cavey, episode 11. We're just enjoying our little corn ration storage there. Now at the end of the last episode, we done a big old speedy up bit through a big old drought. We've got our population back up to 30 odd. As you saw, we have a full corn ration warehouse. We can have our full by any chance. 58 out of 60, get paused. And you didn't have enough cassavas to do a batch, so you can get paused and all. Let's try and properly store up some cassavas here. I'm going to assign this little warehouse to be grapes, and then the warehouse behind it to be lemon storage, because we didn't have any storage for them. That leaves us with 60 fermented cassava storage. Not to mention the 60 that's in there. Oh, what's happening here, boys? What? Stop, what's boo? Beavers? Why? Oh, I see why. The beavers only went and built the levees in the cave. We've only got 2 logs. Beavers, you need to build those 2 levees with an absolute quickness. Oh no, this levee and all. This levee needs to get built. But you can't reach that one. You need to build this one and all. Oh no, beavers. Do I have logs anywhere else? That would be a negative because I very cleverly reduced the priority of all of this stuff here. So it looks like the 120 fermented cassava storage we have here is going to have to last a little bit longer. Beavers, pick those up with an absolute quickness and get them blasted in here right now. And there we go, disaster averted. We even have a builder hammering through the hoses here. What are they hammering in? Can we see it get popped in? It's the side platform, I can tell you that much. We've got plenty more materials need to go in there. Right, before we start building too much more of all of that, let's use our handy dandy small warehouses to get the rubble in one nice pile doing here for the beavers to pick up. 15 logs, get amongst it, beavers. And you know what else? Since this is now flooded, this bit of the cave, we can plant things up here. It's all green. What? Yes! Oh, that includes this hillside. Oh, Mr. Forester. John and Max, you need to get in there and plant those trees that you've never been able to plant before. And I need to get our beavers doing here as well. Let's unpause this breeding pod. We'll have a sprog popped. Go down the pookie. And then we can delete this bad lad and set up our big plan doing here. And there we have it. We've got our forester there. They can plant all the spruces they want. However, I've been thinking, and I didn't think we need this many bloody spruces, do we? I want to save this little 4x4 square here that's not quite 4x4 and have the rest Everblossom trees. I've just been trying to replant this tree here, being like, why is it not letting me do an Everblossom here? And then I looked. Everblossoms are taller than bloody pines. Let's spend the big science points on our massive overhang. And look at that. You can't be planting Everblossoms under this overhang. Right, spun on the works. What else are we going to do here? Oaks, maybe? Ooh, you can plant oaks here. I wasn't planning on doing oaks up here because I'm not sure how long this bit of water's going to last in terms of keeping this moist, because it's only really 1 block above, you know? And I'm purposely just letting it fall out like that. That's no bother whatsoever. Because once we've got the big pipe in there, this sluice is going to close off and stop it from flooding. Because this little bit of flooding, if you remember, is actually fed by this water source in here. Which I'm still kind of proud of how I've sealed it up in this cave here. Oaks are a really bad idea to do right now because I've got no control over bad water. And this little hole in here, it's going to get bloody filled with bad water the next time there's a bad tide. And I'm not doing a 30-day chance. I am going to risk the 12 days for 2 logs versus the 9 days for 1 logs with a birch. But we're going to be pining up on this level and Everblossoming down below. Now I'm happy with that. Beavers, get all this in with an absolute quickness now. And I believe I can place my first mahusive platform here. Whoa, you can't put it on top. Why not? Oh no, I'm being daft, that's off the map. Yep. That's why you needed the 6 long one, MiGly, so you could pop it there. I am a guy at times, like. But that does leave us with this little problem here of having an overhang that doesn't quite get to the end. We didn't have any longer ones here. What about extra metal overhangs? That's an arc, but it's still only 6 long. See, I could go 7x1, but it's in the bloody middle here. Oh, you know what? Let's get this bloody warehouse back in before I end up forgetting. And beavers, that's a high priority job. For all the fermented cassavas we're eventually going to get. Once this bad lad fills up, that is. And I love the fact we're just chomping our way through the corn rations while slowly filling up our corn piles. You got this rubble doing, beavers? Not yet. 3 more logs. I'll check back in a bit. I am going to have to real casually pop this path back in here, though. Make sure we're breeding all 3 of these pods. Keep our 30-odd population stable. And we may as well do something with this green ground here. Can I plant a pine in here? Ooh, I can. I love me a good pine, like. Right, so let's... I was a bit confused, then I remembered that I had to bulldoze all of this land. That's why it was never marked for cutting. But let's mark all of this for cutting, except for that little 4x4 square I was knocking on about. That's going to be for harvesting pine resin right there. But I will not turn down a little beaver planting speedy up bit. But not before we see we got a drought approaching. Hell yeah! back to the speedy up bit. You know what? The speedy up bit never bloody stopped. And it MiGly will sort it out. And look at what we got here. We've got a hillside of trees. At least where we can actually get to them we have. You know what I'm thinking? A little bit of TNT. Right there. Let's see, will this forester reach? They can't reach out of here. So it's a definite maybe. And I do plan on allowing this forester to get through and help out here as well. You know what? You can watch the beavers planting the dynamite while I pop these levies in here. Well, your beavers are a bit slow, weren't you? Speed 3 until they're in, and then I can go and detonate. Boom, boom. Alright, Mr. Forester, can you see? Oh, you can see a fair whack. Look at this kit. Being like this land wasn't here. I never used to be able to stand here. And that's 2 more ever blossoms in there. Look at them, Dina 180, getting them straight in. Double forester action! What's the range on old mate here? Ooh! It's a fair dinkum range, that, isn't it? Let's test our building range. Can yous reach these beavers? Oh, yous can. Oh. Speed 4 till they're in! Boom! Anticlimactic. Boom, boom! But maximum climactic energy right here for the last 3 ever blossoms! Hell yeah! Look, we got a little stubby everblossom and a tall skinny everblossom. I love the variety, like, especially because this is a mod as well. Very much appreciated. Oh, buzzing. Look at all this wood. 0.2 days left of the drought. Just, oh, MiGly, you are a proper numpty, like. Oh. Although I could be clever, hang a boot for 0.2 days. See how long this drought is? 22 days? Yes! Because I can ask these fellas to plant us some corn. And I'm going to get 2 whole batches of corn. Oh, until I remember the fact that it's a drought and it's just going to dry out and I was a numpty. Ooh, I'm running dangerously low on TNT supplies right here. Look at it, 7 explosives. I can count 9 explosives right there, pal. How close are we to getting this in? Not at all. Up the priority. And this is where we find out how long our little moistening hole here will last. I'm going to have you prioritising everblossoms because they take a little bit longer to grow. And you've got to risk it for the extra logs. Look at this, we've got a beaver topping up the lemonade supplies. True champion. 2 beavers went out to D though, that's a tad scary to say the least. And before I forget, I'm going to have to pop a little lumberjack flag down. So let's get that bad lad in. Make sure we have our new everblossoms marked for cotton. And since we got beavers sitting around went out to D and all these everblossoms grown, let's unpause this lumberjack flag. Unpause our industry and enter into a tidy little speedy up bit while we watch our industry graft, our lumberjacks felling trees, and most excitingly, all these pines and bonus everblossoms growing up and getting chopped down. Let's make this 22-day drought count. And fingers crossed this is a big old turning point in Cavey's story. I'd love to crank up the production. Got the sun rising there on a brand new cycle. Cycle 20. I bet you weren't expecting all that progress in that little speedy up bit here. It all grew in, chopped down, some of them are just regrowing. We made progress on the little hour hangs. We shacked the tap and filled the storage of pine resin. And oh yeah, if you remember, I said I was going to change these over when the big warehouse was in, which it is, and all of this is empty. We've only got berries left. RE panic stations! Unpause the food. Pause the production of other materials. Because we can move to water power for those other materials down here. You know, just to help out, I'm even going to unpause this fermenter down here. Now, I was a bit scared there when the water went away from up here. I was like, have we got enough water left? Do I need to stop permanently pausing these bad lads? Thankfully, we still have 875 left. But I do want to up the priority of this bad lad. Make that a maximum priority number. Now, the reason I've been paused this whole time is I want to dip my head in here and see what the water level is. That is not bad, that, like. I only lost a bloody buck and a half. So my thought process behind this little reservoir here is to have a nice big deep block, minimal evaporation, and like, if there are some cave physics in the game, we're in a cave. Even less bloody evaporation, you know? Even if I have plunked a couple of holes here and there. Oh, speaking of holes, I did want to check and see if there was an angle where you could see in the cave from here. And I mean, like, kind of. If I do a bit of a zoom through the old ladder, there you go. You can sort of see what I'm on about there. You can see it. See the levees from inside? This map is getting mental, like, I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, look at this. It's all moistening back up. Unpause this farmhouse this time, MiGly. And we've got 15 workplaces. Therefore, maximum priority hauler. And pause these 2 inventors. I'm happy with that. That's leaving us with 2 builders. Oh, let's do a quick speedy up bit while all these kohlrabis get planted. I love seeing loads of kohlrabis planted, like. It just means we're gonna get fed. We're gonna finally start filling this bloody warehouse again here. We got 2 kohlrabis in a large warehouse. I like the look of these warehouses though. Nice stash of berries. And we're gonna be turning those 200 odd corn and 62 cassavas into a hell of a lot more fermented rations. Now I need to start doing this. What sort of progress did we make underground? Otherwise I end up caught out by things like this getting built. Realistically, I'm quite happy with this progress here. There's no real point in building all of this until we have some sort of bad water solution in place for these sources here. So why don't we properly and fully design this bad lad? That'll mean pop in a sprog out of here. There they are. Oh look, 2 sprogs. One's 2, one's 1. Can't show you mate around. But we'll delete the breeding pod and spend some science points on a 5 long hour hang. So from here to the edge of the map is 4. So if we do a 4 high hour hang, a 5 long hour hang right there, gone all the way along like that, and that gives us an extra bit of room, doesn't it? Alright, forestry planting override tool. We want ever blossoms planted up here. Now we can't be leaving a gaping hole there for bad water can spill in all these trees. So let's levy up here. Levy up here. You know what, while we're at it, let's just bloody make this little container here. You know what, there's no way around it. I'm gonna have to delete this breeding pod. But am I gonna ever put a breeding pod in these 2 spots here? Not after the shenanigans I had with them. So I'm gonna pop a breeding pod right here, next to the lemonade stand. There is no better place to be born than right outside the lemonade stand. What was that, a like on there? Flooded. Oh, these are flooded. Yeah, that happens. Didn't worry about it, beavers. Didn't worry about it. So bear in mind that we're working around that breeding pod being there until it pops a sprog. So this pool here is the bad water pool. Our deep bad water pump's got a maximum depth of 6. So let's gun up 5 more from here. We realise that there's a bit of a hole here for some reason. There must have been a level difference at some point. We'll delete our water access points, which will be here and here. And there you go. Bad water storage tank. Now, as has been proven in previous episodes, MiGly is a master mathematician. Therefore, this will work perfectly. Haha, straight on there. See, told you a man could count. I just never said I could count reliably, did I? Tell you what, I am loving this little platform over the top of the explosives factory. Especially now that the path's connected all the way around. It's like an old school road bypass, but not bypassing like a village to make it less polluted. It's more just, we wanted to build a big factory here and we'll pay for your road to go and run it type of jobby. We are just scraping by on food. I got my fingers crossed for another drought. Yeah, we've had back-to-back bad tides. I'd like a back-to-back drought. Oh yeah, that's right. Remember in the last episode where I was like, I was going to put a sluice here, but I won't, I'll just put it here instead. I remember why I didn't do that. Because if you didn't put a sluice, you end up with a big gaping hole in your tank, didn't you? So a bad water sluice is going to close below 1% contamination. You know what, actually no. Close below 99% contamination. I want this tank to be pure bad water. And I'm going to move this sluice from these water sources doing this pipe as well. I swear there's impermeable floors there. Oh yeah, that's right. Sometimes you can't see them when you reload a save and things like that. So yeah, I'm pretty confident there's actually impermeable floors there. We just can't see them. Let's get our sluice in here. 100% contamination only. And need closing above a particular depth. Against for you now, need closing above a particular depth. So now that we have our tank, like actually have our tank ready to go, we've got our impermeable floors, we've got no gaps anywhere. I'm like 99.8% confident of that. Let us resolve the overflow problem by adding a damn overflow. Just like that. So that'll allow us to get up to 5.5 blocks / 6.5 blocks. And when the water gets over the top, it'll just piss out the side of the map. No bother to us. And since I'm going to be using pipes and whatnot, I don't want any sort of big explosions. So while the bad water is charging up to 100%, I'm going to pop a little dam on the side here. And I'll just pish all the mixy water out. And once it's all fully contaminated, into the tank it goes. I would say it's time to unpause the Tapas shack, but what's he going to do? Store it in his shack. That of course is I. Let's unpause him so you can shack away at the taps there. Speed 4 while we get this breeding pod all the way up. And then delete this bad lad. Continuing our pipe, which is a double platform. A 3 long hour hang. An impermeable floor in the middle. 2 levees on the side. A singular platform on the top. And an impermeable roof. And as you can see there, it wouldn't let us place it anywhere here. So I do believe this has actually got impermeable roof on it. Let's delete this sluice, there's no need for it. I'll replace it with a platform without an impermeable roof. Because we're going to be continuing this pipe up skywards. And I just realised I probably want a little pressure release valve on this bit of pipe and all. And I think it's safest to do it right next to the sluice here. Which actually, I'm going to swap these two round. Dam right next to the sluice, levee right there. Instead of these overhangs being 3 long, they're going to be 4 long. Same on the inside. But it comes out here on the outside. And don't forget the bonus bit of impermeable floor, MiGly. Oh aye, and since we're working with pipes that are pressurised, impermeable roof on the top of that little dam. Dave never be forgetting about that, MiGly. Well, that's our tank, fully impermeable and set up ready to go. Way apart from this little bit of course. So our next step of this tank here is going to be popping the bad water slurpers on. And there they are in all their glory. And you can see the slopey straws there. They're going all the way to the bottom. Including this slopey straw down here. Set one below the rest. So let's get ourselves a handy dandy small platform on here. And path these up. Drought approaching. Yes! Big recovery episode. And progress episode. Look at that. We've got 46 logs knocking about. And these have been on pause the whole bloody time. Cranking away. They're fully stocked with everything they need. Right, now that we've got this bad water tank in, let's see how high we need to go. Hopefully just the 2. Take on now on the top. Oh, it's 3. The cheeky beggars. Well, I hope it's 3 anyway. Aye, there we go. So the way I'm going to do this, double platforms all the way along that side. 5 long hour hangs over this side. And for this side, I want to make it so I can get a nice looking amount of houses on top. And if it's 2 in a rooftop terrace. Oh, come on. Is this finally where we can settle for a rooftop terrace? Come on, beavers, I've got my fingers crossed, peeps, I've got my fingers crossed. Hopefully I don't have to rotate it. I'm doing it, I can! Oh, there we go, we've got one level. We've got one bloody level. But how far out do we want to come with this level? I think 4 is about perfect. Because I have a feeling I'm going to want to continue these a little bit higher than the Hosen Towers. 4 long hour hangs up the top there. And that also gives us a decent little footprint to expand our industrial estate. In the direction we enjoy expanding industrial estates. And looking up here, we've got no more cassava storage. We may as well have you paused, pal. And let's do this, right? 30.6 hours. If I unpause the rest of this here, is it still going to be 30.6 hours?
30.5, 30.4, 30.9, 30.8.
Yeah, it seems to go down at the same rate. We don't need explosives, so I can pause that. That'll bring us very nicely in our efficiency here. And we may as well just crank away with it, especially if we're storing a bit of extra logs in here. It's not like we're going to need those logs very soon or anything. Now, what I will do though real quick, let's expand this roof all the way up to the terrace, as well as the ladder stack. Now, I rotated the ladder stack there for these higher floors, because I want to build a little bridge connection over here. Connect this little alleyway together. So if I pop a 4 long side platform there, and then a 1 long hour here, we've got a nice little connection there. Boom, straight across. Now let's have a look at this connection. If we go on triple platform, can I pop a little hour hang on here and connect up? Oh, it's at the right level. Perfect. Oh, not quite perfect. We need to get up there. Let's see if I can pull some side platform shenanigans. Oh, I can. I'll do that then. Side platform shenanigans, away we gone. I was going to say otherwise I'd just pop 2 platforms there and away I can. Which is probably a lot cheaper, but hey, I'm not whinging, am I? Oh, I am whinging if we're not having this in. Maximum priority that, so it actually gets built, please, beavers. And we've only got a few more planks left before we got this bad lad in. Now, it's not too bad right now, because we're not quite full on water storage. And we're flooding with 2 days left. We can't be having this, like. I would like to lower the floodgates, but also, we need to keep all of what our bloody can. You know what, when we get close to the end, if I remember, I'm actually going to crank the floodgates up to 1 and mildly flood the place. To fully max our water storage in the river here. And you know what, actually? Why didn't I think of this earlier? I could use this sluice here as a little bit of storage because look, I could set this sluice to close above a downstream depth of like 0.05 or something like that. So you see how it's closed now, but then it'll open up whenever the water level drops below a block down there. So the downstream depth that's closed there, we're going to have to bump it up to 0.10 and then we'll see how that goes. It's not opening and closing all of the time. I'm pretty happy with that. Will it close when this floods here? Maybe. My little reservoir idea could still be a thing though. Let's dive underground here. You see, because we have these levees in, this cave here, I believe I can flood. I mean, we still need to test it. There's a lot of dodgy overhangs knocking about. And keep this as like a little reservoir that I could spill down into the river during droughts and whatnot. I mean, look, we'll try. I doubt we're going to get this in the next 1.7 days, but I'll maximum prioritise, like, all of this here. And once all of this is in, this will be a little pipeway. It'll force this water source to chuck a Yui, gone around there, and fill up this cave up to the levee line here. Ooh, would you look at this? We've got a beaver picking the coffee beans straight off the bit bush there. I love me a bit random coffee bush when we're not even making coffee. Probably won't for quite some time. But anywho, enough distractions. Let's sort this out. Look at that, the impermeable roofs have already disappeared off here. They are there, you can tell because I can't place any more on there. But let's send this one straight into the side here. Now am I right in thinking that this will work and stop water? A little bit of that action. I'd say that's not half bad, that like. And I have just had a proper cheeky little thought, and it's all down to whether this little rooftop terrace will allow it or not. Can I side platform off the side? Oh, I can't! I can't! Oh, but that does have us thinking though. I could pop an hour hang like. Tidy little 6 long hour hang like that. And I'm not blocking the ladder's access. Oh, but I am blocking this pathway here. We'll not do one there. Let me levy around this before I forget. This wall's fixed. This wall's fixed. It's the edge of the map. But I want to maximise the space I've got, you know? And there we have it in its full glory. Well, not quite full glory. We still need to make the floor impermeable. But there we have it. Proper in there. In there like swimwear. Fits like a glove. Now I did just notice this big thing hanging about. Be gone. Replace it with a side platform. An impermeable floor. Now before we do this pipe, we're going to have to sort out what's actually going on top of the pipe. Now to figure that out, we need to put a whole lot of single platforms along the top here. So I can fit me big banker engines in. And I reckon those 7 engines are going to keep our power needs in check the whole time we're in Cavey. And now that we've got that in, we can potentially fit something else in between. Oh, and let's check out the falls falling. For maybe one of the last times in Cavey here. Not the falls falling, but us being able to see 27 days! 27 days and we didn't get this in. We didn't max our water storage. We're going to have to be a bit casual with the water this tide. Especially since we didn't get very much progress on here. I mean, don't get us wrong, this is a bloody expensive build. It will just take some time. When you look at that, we've got 1 beaver without a D, and we're about to make loads of jobs available. Look at that, 6 beavers without a D. Looks like we're turning the workplace priority doing the and getting it up to its end. Give us all the haulers. Oh, I can finally get the gear workshop on because it's connected. Look at that. It's actually connected. We will get these other 2 bonus inventors on the crack. And let us think about what buildings we can pop along here that I'd be pretty happy with. They can be 4 high. You know, this could be a canny spot for a little bot part factory action. A little something like this. And that little bit on the side there, it's going to be where the grease factory guns. Now let's not forget to run that power shaft there for when the time comes and we didn't end up with a grease factory we need power. Oh, you what? I can't put the hour hangs on these buildings? Ah, well, not to worry. That's what the impermeable floor's for, innit? And there we have our new bit of industrial estate connected to the old tanks, all up and running there. Well, designed, nowhere near up and running. Oh, look, how did these get replanted as bloody pines? Oh, you probably just haven't grown yet because this little corner dries out. After about 7 days I noted in that speedy up bit. Your farmers, these can get paused. I'd rather have yous as haulers. Now before I fully forget, let's set up the sluices for our freshwater tank. Close above contamination, 0%. We have a 0 tolerance policy for contamination in this tank here, and no closing above any depths. But that's us all tunnelled up into the tank. Or at least it will be when I real quickly do the last of it here. Now pop some side platforms to make up the side there, but to cap it off on the top, we're going to use metal platforms of the overhang variety with some impermeable roofs. And there we have it. It is actually, oh no it isn't, left a little bit of a hole. But there is our functioning tank system, at least in theory. Ooh, overflow. I want to sort an overflow here. Oh, and maybe connect this up as well. I completely forgot about this part, lad. Hang on, you know what I've just thought? The test that we done last episode, when we flooded this cave. I wonder, if we don't really worry about this pipe for now, whenever a bad tide comes round, if I just close the sluice, well, it's going to close anyway by itself. And say, instead of doing a tunnel here, I just pop a levee down. And I do believe if I delete this, the impermeable floor's still there. It is, happy days. Yeah, if I just pop a levee down, I'm creating another sealed cave, aren't I? Let's pop that in, and we'll test it in the next bad tide. Oh my, it takes so long to scroll down now that I've got all of that built. And we still have maximum priority on this? We do. So yeah, we need a maximum priority of this bad lad in, including these impermeable roofs here as well. And we've got this sluice set up to let no bad water in. So we're definitely maximum prioritising this little U-turn here. And then our next priority build, scaringly enough, is this big bad water tank here. All of it. Now that is some build we have on our hands, isn't it, Beavers? And I haven't even addressed how we're going to access this build. I reckon we should build a little access chute up the top here. Extend our little side platform walkway here. So we're just going to have to hope that works itself out when we get it placed in. I would love to see it just go straight from the diagonal in there and join in. Make a nice little triangle. But that should give our beavers access run to here to start building all of this. Now I have already thought about this bit of access. We're going to build laddering all the way up the side of the Hoosen Tower here until we get to the barbed water level. Straight in like that. And from this barbed water level, if I reclock this ladder, a little something like that, we now have access from here, down to here, and up to here. And there we have 7 water pumpers on there, all pathed together and ready to be pathed down to here. I'm thinking at this level here, we do a little splitsies. You swap from that ladder stack to this ladder stack here. And that gets you right up to the water pumpers. Now, do we just so happen to line up with anything here? Lengthwise? That would be a negative. Now, I want to add some bridges across, and I've just had a bit of a brainwave about how to do that. It does require deleting a lot of shite, though. Oh, and look at that. It actually works. I think this one will be a temporary one for now, so I won't path it up. But these ones, I'm quite happy with actually pathing up. Actually, we'll add some more platforms on here for a little bit more connectivity. You know what? I'm bloody tossing this big ladder stack off here. I didn't think it's necessary. Because looking at the priority level we've got, it's only really up to there, including these little platforms. So if I get this up, we have a tidy little path around anyway. That's a lot nicer than anything else we've got. We've got ladders up there that they can use. And I've just clocked that I can use 2 long platforms to fill this little gap. And hopefully pop 1 long platforms along here all the way. Oh, I can! Look at our new industrial level. Now, what do we want to put in here? That's the question. You know, I think we should have ourselves a lumber mill and a cogger's shop. They fit bloody perfectly there, don't they? And that means I can commit to this bard lad, raise the rest of this up 1 level, and see what I can get away with up here. I think we could deal with a couple of more food factories. Particularly since we've got 2 more bloody rations to be cracking along with, you know? And then in this little gap here, we're going to spend 800 Skides points on a wood workshop. And that wood workshop there will allow us to get our little efficient mine in. And we got 4,000 science points as well. But let's do a quick sit rep. We're a couple of days into this drought. 2.1k water. That's like bloody 500 water gone that, I think. 1.8k food. And we're still even have some corn to ration. No doubt due to the lack of wood knocking about, stopping all of this production, you know. I left it unpaused. I always do that. You know what? Cut the bloody trees, beavers. And we're just going to live with the 64 pine resin we have. Although I definitely should have checked first. Some of these are bloody 90-odd%. Beavers, didn't cut that down. Beaver. I know I'm sending mixed messages here, but D's a big favour and stop chomping that pine. Pretty please. Ah, the pine's gone. But there's a nice pine here ready to be shacked by the topper. Yes, sir. Tap those pines. You know what I've been thinking as well? That's 300 treated planks right there. This needs 1 pine resin per plank. So ideally I need 300 pine resin stored up. But the question is, can I squeeze in 10 more handy dandy small warehouses? Why I can. And there's the 300 pine resin storage ready to be built. Now, speaking of things ready to be built, we need to prioritise all of this stuff here. Like this little pathway around the side. So that's everything prioritised to get this bit bad water tanking. And I think with all that in, we need to unpause this bit fermenter and have ourselves a real casual 22-day speedy up bit. Or until I start seeing the berry warehouse can doing all the water tanks emptying at an alarming rate. Then we'll come out of it. But if everything goes to plan, this is gonna be a big old end of episode speedy up bit where we make heaps and heaps of progress. Read at the end of an episode. I find them fun. Like, I enjoy watching the trees pop up and down and all the crops getting planted and harvested and that. And as well, when there's some builds going along, you get to see the progress on that. But there is a bit of suspense in these big end of episode speedy up bits as well. Are we actually going to come through on the other side? What's the beginning of the next episode actually gonna bloody be like? And it means my recording sessions aren't like 5+ hours long, which is the only way I can get these daily uploads out. Not complaining, I am loving these daily uploads. My old schedule, video every day, it sounds fine and everything until you have 4 series on the go and then you realise you're releasing 1 episode of a series every 8 bloody days. And I find it's really difficult to actually get involved in a series that's that long. It's just an absolute awkward amount of time, isn't it? Like if it was 7 days, it's like, oh yeah, Timberborn Tuesday, Timberborn Thursday, you know, that type of thing. But when it gets to 8 days, it's just like, what day is this coming out? What even is this series? Like, I can't remember anymore. So to try and avoid as much of that as possible, I'm fishing here for schedule suggestions. It's alright if you didn't have any, but as a YouTube enjoyer, what sort of schedules do you prefer yourself? Of course, daily's awesome, and that is on the cards. I may try and continue daily uploads, just with 4 different series. I see a lot of YouTubers doing Monday to Friday schedules, but then I find that Saturdays are just dead. Now, there may be a very good reason for that, but I quite like releasing videos on a weekend, so it's one of them I've got to properly think about it, you know? But anyway, enough rambling about bloody YouTube stuff and knocking on and all that stuff. I do hope you're enjoying these daily uploads of Cavey. We're going to enjoy them all the way till Update 7 comes out, and then we'll be back at it with Lemon Canyon and a brand new Update 7 map. But that won't be tomorrow. What'll be tomorrow? It's me catching you for another episode of Cavey. Bye bye. And you thought I'd just gone ahead and spend science points without you? Nah, I just didn't want to ruin the speedy up bit. But that's why the Tapaz Shack miraculously appeared.